Hello and welcome to Wanjiro Space. I am Wanjiro Mungai. Today I want us to talk about autism. Autism Spectrum Disorder, also known as ASD. This is a neurodevelopmental condition and it is characterized by difficulties in social communication and repetitive, restricted, or sensory behavior or interests. When does this condition start? It may begin before the age of 3. So a child may acquire the milestones that we know about as children are growing up. But maybe by the 9th month, a child may not respond to their own name. So you will call, but they will not respond. By the time they are 18 months to 2 years, they may have acquired some milestones, or maybe all by the age of that child, and suddenly they don't develop milestones anymore, or they may lose that which they had before. So as a parent, you'll be thinking, this is a different child because they were doing okay, they looked okay. What do you look out for to know that a child is autistic? What are the symptoms? When it comes to the social communication, this child avoids eye contact. For them, it's such a difficult task. They can't maintain it. They will not respond when you talk to them. And they do not use a language to communicate. And I'm saying not all of them. Some have similar symptoms, others have different symptoms altogether. These children have difficulties making friendships. They are not able to interact like the other children socially, so it may be hard for them to get a friend. And more often than not, they like to keep to themselves. They may use only limited gestures like waving. They may not, even by the time a child is 1 year, when you say bye-bye, they will not respond. They'll not wave back. When it comes to the facial expressions, they may use very limited expressions or not at all. So you may be talking to them and they have this face that is, you would say, flat, because they will not be smiling, they will not look sad, they will not look happy. They're just there. But again, not all of them. When it comes to the restricted and the limited, or limited and repetitive behavior, the sensory behavior, you'll notice that this child likes to do their stuff in a particular way. So if they play in a certain way today, they'll do the same tomorrow and the day after. They do not like anything changed. They like to stick to routine. So when you make changes to what they are used to, they can get very upset and go into a tantrum or even a meltdown. They may want to say the same thing over and over again, repetitively. You know, they can tell you the same thing over and over, today, tomorrow, and the day after. I know of one child who would come to me at church and keep telling me, I'm going home. Of course, I would answer, yes, bye. He comes back just like 2 minutes after, I want to go home. I would say, okay, bye. That kind of thing. They will repeat the same word over and over. They are very sensitive to sounds, smells, and tastes. So sometimes they may not like the music you're playing, and that can also throw them into a tantrum. They may also sniff objects, some things that you may not understand, or even lick stuff that you think should not be happening. So some people think they have queer behavior, but this is just an explanation of how these children are different. What are the do's and don'ts with an autistic child? Number 1, when they are having a meltdown, kindly help. These children thrive in an environment that is calm, that is quiet, that is familiar, but we expect them to be like the rest of the children. So we want to take them to the malls, to church, to the social functions, and the crowd expect that your child should be calm and collected. It won't happen because this child is different. So if they are disturbed by, say, the music that is playing, you can kindly offer to help. As the mom is calming this child down, or the father, you can just tell these people to turn the music down. It may help to calm him down or her, and it would shock you that maybe just that music being off or down a little will have the child just being okay. Number 2, you can encourage friendships. Just because this child is not able to talk does not mean that they do not need friends. Deep down, this child wants to be a friend to someone. So you can invite them to the birthday parties of your children. I'm sure somebody is saying, no, they'll just make a mess of my beautiful party. But we can consider just accommodating them a little. It will help. Number 3, give them time to respond. When you ask them something, remember they don't process information as fast as the other children. So allow them that time. The answer will come. Meanwhile, as they are trying to process, don't fill gaps. Don't fill that gap with more questions, or maybe like, did you understand? Don't do that to them. They'll eventually give you an answer. And look like you're interested, as they are trying to talk to you about what you asked them. Number 4, remember we said that this child develops milestones normally for the first 1 year or maybe up to the 2nd year. But when they stop to acquire more skills, you may think your child is different, or the people who know your child may think it's a different child now. She or he is no longer the same. No, it's the same child, so accept them fully and love them the same. Number 5, talk about their interests. Believe me, these children have various interests. Some are so good in, many skills. Some can be very good at math. I know you're wondering how. Yes, they get 100%. Others may be just good at games, board games, or any other game, or art and craft, anything. So sit with this child and talk to them about what makes them happy. What are their interests? And as they talk to you, show interest, please. And it will shock you how much you can discuss with this child. And the last one, I know there can be many, we are just going to cover a few. Help the parents, listen to them. And I keep saying, listen actively. Remember, this parent is going through a lot of challenges trying to cope with this condition, and it's not easy. So if they want to talk to you about what has been happening in their life, kindly give them that time. Listen to them. If you can relieve them of their duties sometimes, and if they want to, because sometimes they may not also want to imagine like they are giving you a burden of making them, part of their life. But if you can, and it is welcome, you can babysit this child as a parent does something else. They may want to go, remember the video I did on caregiver? They may want to go to the salon for a haircut, to go shopping or something, a breath of fresh air. You can give them that. I wanted us to start with the good ones. So what are the don'ts? These same parents that you are helping, number 1, do not approach them with pity. Remember, these children are only different, but they are children just like yours. Don't take things personally. Sometimes, you remember we said they may not have very many words, even when they are verbal. So they may look unfriendly. They may walk away. They may ignore you totally. So when they do that, don't take it to heart like, what is wrong with this? What did I do to this child? There is nothing wrong you did. That is how they communicate. So have your emotions in check, please. You are the adult here. The other thing we shall not do is talk about these children as though they can't hear us. Remember, they may not talk, for some of them I said, but they hear everything. So don't talk about them as though they do not matter, as though they are less humans. Let us be sensitive and remember that they are children with loving parents and loving siblings for some. When you are giving instructions to this child, don't back that instruction, because again, they process slowly. So don't say so many things. Don't make it a series of instructions. No, it will be one at a time. And until one is accomplished, don't give the second instruction. And if you think they are not getting it as fast as you would like to, kindly slow down. Give them time to process what you have said. And then once they are done, you've said it, we can do the second one. When you talk to them, your language should be very, very clear. Don't use figurative language on this child. For example, don't tell them, keep an eye on that. They may take it literally so that they bring the item next to their face. You do not want that happening. So just be clear, very, very clear, simple language. The other thing we are not going to do is to stare at these children. I know the tendency is very high to just want to stare when they have a meltdown or when they are throwing tantrums. Do not, please. I have a friend who told me when he used to take his child to Kenyatta, to the clinic, they would get to Kencom and this child refuses to move. Remember, he's a big boy, because we are not saying that they remain at 3 years. They will grow. We have 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds and above who are autistic, parents who are autistic. But the crowd does not understand what is happening. They are thinking, what a spoilt boy. Why is he even carrying him? Number one, in a matatu, the boy has to sit on the dad's lap. And everybody is thinking, can't you just put this child on the seat? No, it won't happen because they do not understand that one. Number one, he's in a strange environment. Remember, we say they like the familiar. This is strange for them, so they do not want the people in the matatu. They are so scared. And some would even think that he has stolen a baby. Because why? How can it be your child and they are running away from you? They don't want you to touch them. So they will judge you and they do not know your story. This is what we are saying. Let's be aware of what is happening to these people. Another one, in a church, this child, he must have been 10, but he looked, bigger. Sometimes they grow very big, and he may have looked 13. And so he goes to the front, and I think he's fascinated by being the one looking at the crowd from the other side and just smiling very hard and, laughing loudly. And you know what happened? Some 3 adult men roughed up this child and they took him out of the church. Okay, we know this is a holy place, we understand, but this is a child. By the time you are wondering, you want to remove this child out of the church because you think he's causing disruption, he's a disturbance, you should have asked yourself, why is this child behaving the way he's behaving, yet he looks old enough? If you could ask yourself that simple question, then you'd get the answers. This child is autistic. You know why some mothers cannot go to social functions? Because of such things. Because they are scared that the child will go and maybe at a wedding and just turn the table that has the cake. You can imagine a wedding without a cake. Or just the other tables when the people are eating and they decide to tip over the table. And for them, it may be a game and everybody is all worked up. You're all going crazy. This child has a condition. So let us try to understand them and not stare. it makes them uncomfortable. Again, don't assume that because they are not able to talk, for the non-verbal ones, that they cannot communicate. Communication is more than just speaking. Actually, I think non-verbal is deep. So, these children can blink, they flap a lot, maybe out of frustration to communicate something that you're not getting. They smile, they point. There are so many things they do, the non-verbal cues they give. And all we are supposed to do is try and understand them and not think that they don't communicate. They do. The last one of the don'ts. Do not insist on the eye contact. For them, it's a very difficult task. And yet we know of some people who will get hold of that child and, force them to look at them in the eye. How insensitive can you get? And maybe you're doing this in front of the mother or the father. It's very unkind. So let us not do some of these things. There are many others, but those are just a few of the ones that we may do to help our interaction with these children better. So now we know what autism is, and we can do a lot better to interact more positively with these children. I will stop here today. Thank you for watching. Thank you to my subscribers and my viewers. I will continue to ask kindly for those that have not subscribed, do so, and continue to hit that notification bell so that you may receive the notification for new videos, and kindly share this video. Until the next time, bye-bye.